What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on, give this video a like. We're going to be getting into a taper tutorial today. It's going to be two all the way around with a high taper on the temple area and a taper on the nape. But other than that, let's get straight to this video.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
So right here, my client, he has been growing his hair out since before Thanksgiving. I told him that I wanted to film a taper tutorial, so he went weeks without a haircut. So right now we're just taking that number 2 guard, using our Barberless with that Tune 45 power clip attached. As you can see, got all the Tune 45 gear in the back. But right now we're just making sure we take slow strokes through the top of the hair, taking that 2 guard nice and easy all the way around. And we're just knocking down the bulk of the haircut and just getting all this prepared for the fade, all this prepared for the taper that we're gonna be doing on the sides and the back. So when you're using this 2 guard, you wanna make sure that you're going against the grain of the haircut. Make sure you're taking that guard across the head. A lot of times clients' hair grows in different directions and whatnot. So you wanna make sure that you're going against the grain at all times and making sure that everything is even and making sure that you have a nice canvas that you can start laying your taper down, laying your fade into. So right here, the Barberless are very good clippers at taking out bulk. So if you're looking for a good clipper to take down bulk, I suggest you get the Barberless. These are the Gold FX. So we're almost done with taking that 2 guard all the way around the head, and then we're gonna get to the taper portion of the haircut. So first, we're gonna do the nape tape first, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the taper after that. So right now I have my Andis Slimline GTXs. These are hitters, guys. If you have not seen my unboxing video, go click on that link. But right now we're making a sad face shape on the back. It's gonna be a curved, shape that we're gonna lay down for our guideline. And the purpose of laying down this sad face shape is that way we can keep the edges of the nape edged up and dark. So that's the purpose of doing this right here. I'm making a shape for the initial bald line. Now after we bald it out with the GTXs, we're gonna go ahead and take that Andis shaver and make sure that we just get that completely balded out at the bottom. Now the next thing we're gonna do is gonna take our Gold FX, we're gonna open the lever halfway. We're gonna open the lever all the way and make our initial guideline. Now I want this taper on the back to be very spread out, which is why I'm making such a large guideline, such a large panel of hair to fade out. So you can see there, I did about an inch, maybe a little over an inch of a panel of hair to fade out. And once we did that, I closed the lever, fade up, close the lever, slightly fade up. And we're gonna repeat this process until we have this whole panel of hair completely faded out. So you can see here, I'm opening the lever and just etching at that line until it's completely gone. Just erasing that line that we made. Now, if you just keep a process, keep a system on how you're cutting, you will never get lost in your taper or your fade. You just wanna make sure that you're following the same steps for every fade. Any texture of hair, any type of client you have, it's gonna be the same thing if you're doing a fade or a taper. So keep that into consideration. Now the next guideline that we're gonna make is gonna be, or the next panel of hair we're gonna make is using the one guard, lever closed, going up about an inch. And right here on the right side, you can see the hair is starting to grow outwards. So you wanna make sure that you're taking that guard and going against the grain of the hair to make sure that we have that completely even on that panel of hair right there. Now the next thing that we're doing is gonna have that half guard on, lever closed, open and slightly fade up, lever closed, open and slightly fade up until we have that area completely faded out. Now with the 2 guard being all the way around, it's not gonna be very difficult to do this process, to have this taper done. This haircut, if you're regularly working in the shop, this shouldn't take more than 25-30 minutes, including your detailing and whatnot. Especially if you have a client that's thinning or something like that. My client specifically here has very thick hair, so it is more of a task than somebody who's thinning. But right now we have that 1 guard on, and we're gonna have the lever open, and we're making another panel of hair to fade into. Once we have that panel created, we're gonna close the lever all the way, fade up slightly, open the lever, fade up slightly, until that panel of hair is completely faded out here as well. This is gonna be the same steps, same process that you do on the taper, on the temple side of the head. You're gonna make sure that you're just paying attention to these steps on both sides. Right now we have that 1.5 guard, and we're just lever open and fading into that 2 guard that we already laid down. Now, once we have that lever open and we see little areas here and there that aren't completely faded out, what we'll do is then we'll lever play. You're gonna go ahead and get that 1.5, close it, open it, slightly fade up, open the lever, slightly fade up, and repeat the same process. Now, I know to a lot of people who are, veterans in the game, this may not be a difficult task, but to people who are just learning, people who are just, getting into barbering, or maybe you're at home cutting your brother's hair, your uncle, what have you, you wanna make sure that you're just taking the steps needed to get the fade done. You wanna make sure that you follow the same steps. Like I said, I cannot reiterate that the most when doing a fade, because it's easy as a beginner to get lost in the sauce, get lost in the fade, get lost in what you're doing. So just make sure that you're doing that. So right now we're just detailing that area, trying to get that 1.5 guard faded into that 2 guard so we can continue on with the rest of the haircut. Now, once we do that, right now I'm brushing all the hair in the direction that it's supposed to lay, and then we're gonna go ahead and take those GTXs, make our nape edge up, get it nice and crispy. And my client has a lot of hair that's growing on the nape area, so we're gonna go ahead and, I'm not gonna say push back, but we are gonna manipulate the hair to create an edge up for him on that back area. Now you can see here, we're doing the same thing on the left side that we did on the right side. And you wanna make sure that you're laying down reference points in your head, how far behind the ear are you going, what angle are you going at down the nape. And you wanna make sure you're just paying attention to those little things. That way you can maintain symmetry in your haircuts. Now, after we do this with the GTXs, I always go over anything I do with the trimmer. I always go over with the shaver to get that completely balded out and make sure that we can get this haircut to last for my client. Now, what you do to the left side, you want to make sure that you're doing to the right side, as you can see that we're doing right here. Now, the next part of the haircut that we're going to get to is going to be the temple area taper. And I make a guideline right here using the GTXs, and I get it balded out with the trimmer, but then I'm not really satisfied with the placement of the guideline. So I am gonna go over my work and make sure we get that a little bit higher. This is gonna be a super high bald taper. That way we can just see the vertical bars on the edge of when we get done with this area. So like we do to the back, you wanna make sure you're taking that shaver and going under your trimmer and making sure you're flicking up into that stubble right there and create a nice gradiency to your taper. Now the next thing you're gonna do is gonna open the lever on your Gold FX or whatever clipper you're using, create a panel of hair. So you can see I'm using those first 2 to 4 teeth of the blade on that area because it's a circular shape. So you're gonna use a lot of your corner work to get this done. And so we'll open the lever, slightly fade up, open the lever, slightly fade up until we get this panel of hair completely faded out. Now the only part right here on this nape tape, on this temple taper that you're gonna use, the entire blade is gonna be more so towards the vertical bar area because you have more of an area that's not circular where you can fade up. Now you can see that it's coming along nicely. The blend is there. We're getting it nice and blurry. You want to make sure you're just detailing little dark areas that you see like I was doing right there. Brush the hair down in its natural direction. That way you can go against the grain with your guards. Now I have that half guard lever open, and we're creating another panel of hair to fade into. And then I close the lever, fade up slightly, close the lever, fade up slightly. And the temple taper should not take that long, especially if you're doing like a high taper. A lot of times, for me personally, a low taper or a mid taper is going to take a little bit longer to do. With a high taper, you're extending the blend so much that it creates gradiency, but it also makes it easier because your panels of hair that you're fading into are much larger, so it's easier to fade those out and get that nice and blurry. So now we have that 1 guard lever open, creating another panel of hair. And remember that we do have a 2 guard all the way around. So basically we're just gonna be fading in this 1 guard into a 1.5 into a 2. And that's how you're just gonna stack your guards on the taper. So right here, we're just doing a little bit of lever play and detailing with that 1 guard and just making sure we get it nice and blurry for my client, making sure it's blended, making sure we get any dark spots, any imperfections that we see out. And then after we use that 1 guard, this is where we tie in that 1.5 to the 2 guard and just make sure that we solidify that taper. Not a very, very hard haircut to do. This is something that a lot of barbers I know start off doing is tapers and edge ups when they first started doing hairs. So this is just a simple haircut that you will see in the shop a lot of times. I mean, depending on where you are demographically or geographically, you know, it could be different, you know, but in the area I'm at, a lot of people, they get the guard all over with a taper. So this is something that we see here in my part of Texas quite frequently. So I know in a lot of different areas, trends, you know, tend to differentiate. So, but right here, we're going around the ear with the GTXs. I'm holding my client's ear down so I can get all that hair behind the ear. You wanna make sure you're not letting your client walk out with, you know, long hairs protruding from the ear that you could have got. So you wanna make sure that you're paying attention to detail, paying attention to your client, and just making sure you get them the best possible service they can. So you wanna make sure it's comfortable as well. You know, a lot of times it's very hard to do these steps right here with the mask and with the little, the strings attached to the mask. But you wanna just slide the string down a little bit so you can get that area. Like I said, anything I use the trimmer with, I go over with the shaver and I'm just gonna get it completely balded out for my client. This side of the taper is gonna be completely time-lapse because it's the same exact steps as the opposite side and the back. So, you know, I just wanna say I appreciate everybody for clicking on this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. If you are learning something in this video, just stay on the lookout for more content to come. But you can see here, the taper is coming out nice and blurry. We're getting it taken care of, doing the same exact steps, making sure that we maintain symmetry on our haircut, and just, you know, have fun with the hair when you're doing it. You know, be an artist and create art. You know, create a masterpiece of work. That's the goal anytime somebody sits in your chair. But what I did before I laid the spritz down is I got my 1.5 guard and I went and cleaned up that front edge up area so we can not have so many hairs hanging over the like bangs. So right now I have those GTXs. I make a cut in the very center of the forehead first, and then I make a cut near the vertical bar, and then I bridge those two together. We're just connecting the dots on that front edge up and getting it nice and crispy, nice and precise. And just paying attention to, you know, what reference points on the, how far it is off the eyebrow, how high it is. You wanna make sure you're paying attention to those reference points so you can do the same exact thing you do on the left side, on the right side for your client. Now right here, I'm just detailing, getting little areas that I see that, you know, maybe need to be pushed, you know, a little higher or a little, you know, more to the left. So you wanna make sure that your client's head's always straight so you can get a very, very sharp edge up, a very symmetrical edge up. Now, like I said, on this portion, I did the vertical bar area first because I already made that middle cut when I did the left side. And we're just gonna bridge those two together. Make sure you're brushing your client off, brush the hair off so you can see what you're working with. And then we're gonna get to that vertical bar and attack that. And as you can see here, the haircut is already there. The haircuts come together, but there's not really much left to do to the haircut, but edge it up with the razor and get your client super, super crispy. So this is the 245 triple cartridge razor. I'm using derby blades that you can get from your local barber supply or beauty supply. And we're just making sure that we get that nice and precise. So we wanna get any flyaways that are hanging over and make sure that we have an overall flow to the look for your client. Now, not a very difficult haircut, like I said. So I hope everybody got something good out of this video. I hope everybody got some good information, some tips, some tricks, and how to execute a taper, a high temple taper and nape tape for your client. But that's gonna pretty much do it for this haircut. Not anything difficult, like I said, but haircut's blurry. The edge up is precise. We got them looking crispy. And this was filmed on Christmas Day. So, but there's the overall haircut right there. High temple taper, nape tape looking blurry. His nape edge up is nice and crispy, but you can't ask for much more in a haircut. So just put in the work, put in the reps, and you will get to where you want to with your haircuts. But that's gonna be the overall look for the haircut. But once again, I appreciate everybody for clicking on this video, clicking on this tutorial. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, give this video a like. Helps the channel to get some more visibility on YouTube and just helps out with the algorithm overall for the channel. Stay tuned. I will be doing a 2K 245 Power Mat giveaway. We just got up to 1830, so we're steadily trucking along. Got more vlogs coming, hopefully some more reaction videos with the squad at the shop, but stay tuned for that. Hope everybody has a good day today, and until next time, God bless.